Welcome back, listeners, to another episode of The Snake Pit. Today we're going to be talking about a shot-on-video classic called Video Violence. Released in 1987, this DVD was done by Camp Motion Pictures, and I don't know, man, this is a shot-on-video movie, so it's kind of low budget. It's got really good gore. What did you guys think of it? Is this your first shot-on-video type movie?
Yeah.
Yeah? What did you think of it?
You can very much tell that it was budget. I'm not gonna lie about that, but it was alright. It was good for a gore fest type.
Yeah,
It was good. Yeah.
What'd you think?
It was an interesting thing. It built up really strange, and then at the end, it's like, oh shit, this is some really
shit.
Messed up, cult
Cult behavior.
This is super messed up. It's a super freaky concept, but honestly, for rating wise, I feel like it's ruined a little bit by the low budgetness of it.
All right, fair enough. Honestly, this is shot on video movies. For those of you who don't know, it's basically in the 80s boom with VHS and tape. Pretty much anyone that had a camcorder, tape recorder, and blank tapes, they figured, hey, why not? Me and a few of the bros will film a horror flick. So you get a whole bunch of these low-budget type movies. Usually a lot of them are really good with the gore, but like you said, you guys like the budget shows. Sorry, the tea's got me a little bit, some of the beer. But yeah, the budget shows, you can tell none of these people are professional actors, but there is some good soul put into it. You can tell everyone who did it definitely had a good time, and it's basically how to make a movie 101, a quick rundown of the story in the simplest terms, because it was kind of faded when we watched it, so names aren't a little bit on priority. It was more the gore, but basically there's this guy who basically moved from New York with his wife, and he runs a video store, him and this guy Rick, and basically one day they notice that it's weird because everyone in town is just renting splatter and slasher movies. And then one day they start getting blank tapes in, and these blank tapes depict actual snuff films from people within the town, such as the postmaster. Shit gets weird. Rick goes
and
missing.
They try and give it to the fucking police, and the entire police in the town, the guy who runs the police, and another one of them is just doesn't fucking pay attention, you know?
They basically...
something's up at that point.
I feel they're into it because the guy erased the
he
footage,
erased
right?
the tape the second time around.
Yeah.
But basically, so they leave Rick at the store. He's the employee. This main guy, can't remember, Mr. Emery or whatever his name is. He goes over to the sheriff. The sheriff automatically doesn't believe it. He's old-time country guy. He's well, this is bullshit. It's just a shoot-'em-up movie. It's a bloody movie. These are normal things, Mr. Emery. And he's like, all right, well, come to my video store and I'll prove that there's snuff films coming in. They go, tapes blanked, Rick's missing, and
and he records over the tape
with some home movie or some shit, then
he's trying to prove it to him. And it's
and the guy, the cop doesn't believe him the whole time, and basically Mr. Emery keeps getting tapes at his store. People keep writing slasher movies. Great selection, honestly. Some of my favorite stuff in this movie was the shit filmed in the video store, solely because posters for classic
movies.
A
classic video store setup, man, and it really made me feel like I was shopping in my childhood.
Oh yeah, man!
Really,
the posters for Friday the 13th. Fucking, you got Conan the Barbarian pieces. You got all these.
Got a Quicksilver fucking poster.
Oh hell yeah!
Sick.
Fucking, they even had a VHS of Make Them Die Slowly, also known Cannibal Ferox, and I seen that tape. I'm like, God damn it, I have that tape. That's insane. They keep getting these blank tapes. So basically, Emery and his wife are trying to figure out what's going on because everyone seems to be weird. The town, first of all, I mean, this is 1987, and everyone in the town has a VCR. Which is pretty fucking weird considering VCRs would have ran about $400-$600, I believe, back in those days. So small town USA, everyone's got a VCR, no one's got cable, they all just rent horror movies and these snuff movies apparently. So they're the two outcasts here. They come to find out there's a town-wide conspiracy. Apparently everyone's in this video club where they're renting out snuff films, and anyone that tries to, anyone who's transient or anyone who's passing by or anyone who tries to leave that knows the secret, murder them, put them in a new movie, and then sell it at the video store. It's pretty simple story. Really interesting one too. Honestly, if this was a budgeted movie, I feel like
interesting cult film.
Hell yeah!
It doesn't show you that there's a cult right until the end. Last scene's 3 minutes, and it explains the whole thing. It's this whole town is in on it. Everyone, they're all fucking horrible people. Oh, wow.
There was some great gore too. Some of the films are distributed by this guy named Eli and I think Howard. And like the whole time we're watching it, I kept thinking about August Underground, but like a very light August Underground.
100%.
Just so you guys know, this movie, part 1, is a comedy horror. Same with part 2. The funny thing is, I think I remember reading that the guy who made this, or the people that did make this, intended for it to be a serious satirical look at this horror and splatter genre and snuff film mythology, but they ended up making this really funny, almost borderline inept looking student film. And it's just so good because I think they don't realize how funny this movie comes off. In part 2, which is also on this DVD, I'll just flash a quick poster of it right here. In part 2, they became a little bit more self-aware with the comedy, and I personally, from someone seeing part 2, I don't think it lives up as well as the first one. The fact that they tried so hard to be serious in this movie just makes it like absolutely fucking hilarious. Some of the gore is great, like the massacre in the deli. It's fucking amazing, yo. Like, and I love how, because this stuff is actually filmed on tape, you get like the natural like VHS static and tear in some scenes. And it was just great. Like, really funny movie too. Like, I felt like some of the fucking dialogue, some of the things people were doing was just so funny. It was so dumb. Like, but no, honestly, what do you guys think some of the shortcomings on this movie were? Like, other than like the obvious budget, like, and stuff like that. I mean, I personally felt like some scenes dragged on a little too long. Like, I feel like you could have cut, like, it's an hour and a half. I feel like they could have cut out.
I found a lot of the audio editing, like, really bothered me and really it took away from, like, a lot of the watchability of the film. Like, it was like, oh, we're trying to be only, like, found footage, and then but then they would go away from it as well, and then go back into it, and it's like, it's not a found footage film, it's not a horror film, it's like this weird in between, and it's like
comedy with gore.
It's a comedy with gore, and it's not like, it's freaky, but at the same time it's so watchable without like any reaction, because you just know
Honestly,
from the very beginning.
In some regards it felt like a trauma movie. Like, you know, because some of the trauma stuff is shot on video. It did really feel like that. But trauma, like, I feel like they're self-aware with what they're doing, like, and they have a somewhat of a budget, and they have skilled people, whether or not, like, you know, it's over-the-top hammy acting or, like, jokes behavior. They're professionals. They know what they're doing. So a trauma movie, in my opinion, definitely looks better than this, but it's in the same league of, like, Z-grade cult movie. The sound mixing, like you said, some of it is really distracting and annoying. Like, the worst is there's the theme song that plays throughout the whole movie,
which I didn't actually mind. I thought that was a good thing to like tie it in, like give it its own kind of like brand, you can say. Like, I thought that was a good idea, but
the whole fucking movie.
And then like it's the volume set, like so much of the
the audio is
it cuts over like the dialogue, all sorts of stuff. It's
and I can already
distracting.
see some of the people in the comments making like, oh, they're talking about audio, but some of the audio in their videos. This is different. This is a movie. This isn't a podcast. I feel like, and I don't want to seem like I'm trashing on these people, because this is definitely something that was made with care. People that were just having a good time, but. If you guys are watching this expecting something, like, you know, even on the level of a Grindhouse movie, no, like, try to think of it as, like, a couple people had a good time and they made what they could with what they had. It's still really good, and honestly, like, you know, it kind of gives you hope. If you're an aspiring filmmaker, you watch this and you're like, you know what, maybe I could do that. But having said that, this movie's like an hour and 30 minutes. A lot of shot-on-video movies are an hour or slightly under or slightly over. I feel like this movie could have benefited by cutting a lot of the longer scenes, a lot of the driving scenes, just trim them down way more. This movie could have been an hour long, and I think it would have been fine if they just kept all the key things there.
I feel like if they added a little bit more suspense and build up to the whole town being in on it, that would have been more freaky, because like I wasn't that scared like the whole time. It was like, oh, this is happening, and it's gonna keep happening, and we're not going to get any conclusion to it. The conclusion is right at the end, and I feel like if the end torture scene was longer,
it would have been more effective.
It would have been a lot more effective for freaking out the audience.
Yeah, our main character, Emery, and his wife, we don't even see their murder. We just see
everyone at the end like, ooh.
And then you see a quick cut in the video store of everyone watching their murder tape, but you don't even see it happen. You just see their bodies lying there. again, great use of the gore and some of the kill scenes. Honestly, like they were like, this is from 1987, and this made me think of August Underground, which is from like 99, 2001, and like those scenes were great. The scenes with Eli and Howard, and even the vampire. I personally really like the vampire kill like a lot. I think the guy dressed up, it clearly looks like a dude dressed up as a vampire, but it's just so fucking off-putting, especially thinking like, hey, this is a snuff film where a guy dressed up as a vampire and just killed this chick. Like,
that was an interesting kill scene.
Yeah,
really
like, cool shit. Like I
found
really
it rounded out the movie. Like it made it like believable as like all this cult of people is trying to make a bunch of different ideas and do different
their own movies
snuff
and
films.
Shit. And like honestly, some of the stock music when Emery and his wife were like talking was so fucking funny. Like it actually felt like a TV movie at points. Until he says I can't remember what the line was, but he said something that was so fucking hilarious. Like there's really funny shit. Like I don't know again if it was intentional or unintentional. One of my favorite lines in this fucking movie is when Emery and Rick are talking about how weird all the yokels in town are and how no one seems to want to talk to them and just rent movies and leave. And Rick's like, yeah, man, it's like I have AIDS or something. Like nobody wants to talk to us. And I'm like, Jesus, bro, this is totally like an 80s movie. Like fucking like it's just an example of like the like. I wouldn't say witty, but on the spot, like dialogue, some funny shit. There's some good funny one-liners. All in all, I feel like it could have been cut a little bit shorter. Gore was great. But as an overall rating, I'd have to probably give this, for a shot on video rating, you know, I'd probably give this about an 8 or a 7. Because it's one of the better ones I've seen out of all of them. And hopefully this doesn't, not all of them, but out of the ones I own. Hopefully this doesn't deter people from checking it out. I think it's worth a watch for anyone who's interested in making movies, wants to see some good gore effects, or if you like Z-grade trauma shit or trauma type stuff. But yeah, no, I'd probably give this about a 7 and 8 in shot on video. But as an overall horror movie, I like the plot, I like the gore, I like the ideas they went for, but I'd have to give this about a 4. This is like very amateur, you know, like it's just not great. It kind of drags on a little too long, and it could have been better. But you know, this all boils down to budget and like who they knew and who they could get together to make it. I feel like if it had all those things, this could have been a really good movie. This could have been maybe like an 8 or a 9. But as it stands, on the scale of all kinds of movies, I'd give this about a 4. What about you guys?
I'm about the same.
About the same, yeah.
I'd say like a lot of the effects are really good, and the storyline, like it's broken up, but it's a very interesting concept, and for what it is, it's good. I have to give it like a 5.5, a 6.
Oh, nice.
It's a good watch.
It'll kill the time. Kills an hour and a half. Especially if you're crushing a few brews, smoke a few joints, it'll kill the time. But if you're like, you know, some cinema snob, like we said before, an elevated horror fan, or someone who's more accustomed to like the mainstream shit, this might be a little slow for you. This might be.
It's a bit of a reach for most people. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, no. If you're an all-in-all horror fan, definitely check this out. If you want to get into shot on video, this is one of the best ones. Yeah, Video Violence. What can I say? This is the DVD released by Camp Motion Pictures. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Snake bit, baby.
See you later.